So the next step is really kind of clean this up a bit and create some compounds, also add comments where needed. And we're just going to go in, we have 3 ice trees, so each one we're going to make into a series of compounds, just so that it makes sense, it's easier to read if you're going to share this with other people. So let's look at this tree here for the particles and see what we would like in compounds. We have these 2 areas here that do a test on the burn rate and the test on the fuel. So we're just going to create compounds for those. Right mouse button, create compound, and we'll quickly go here and we'll just call this delete by burn rate. Okay, so just hit OK, and we'll just do here compound, create compound, go to the compound properties, delete by fuel. And you really should go in and add some comments in here just so it's clear what these are doing, or again we can just add a simple comment here. Oops, do that. A simple comment here, create comment and say what this does. So I'm just saying delete particles that are not burning. Okay, so you can just go in and add wherever these comments in and kind of go ahead and make it nice and clear for anyone else reading these. Again, anything that you need to output, we're going to need to output. These both have no special inputs, and the output is just the execute. So that's a lot cleaner, and we can hide the comments as well just by clicking on the little comment icon. We have down here for delete by age, we can leave that here, but we have our forces here, and we actually have the add forces, and we have a turbolize as well. So it's kind of a force, or we're using it as a force. So I'm going to get an execute node just to be able to have these both go into one place and then out to a single port, just again to keep things clean. And then these were going into port 3, so we reconnect that into port 3. And we'll disconnect this one from port 4. So that's again could be a compound. We're going to want some outputs going into this one, so or input, sorry. So pick all these up to the execute node, create compounds, edit compounds. So we'll do compound properties first. Compound properties, we'll call this fire forces, and we'll go into this compound and make sure the right things are output. So we have our neighboring particle force. We'd probably like to have the cutoff distance and the attraction strength for that one. I'd like to be able to change my first force. We can rename this direction force. So again, naming these makes it easier to see what's what. And again here, I'd like turbulent scale and turbulent strength. Also output. We can animation as well if you want to, but this is enough for that one. So again, our fire forces, and here's all the options we have for our fire forces. Down here, this is pretty simple, so everything is looking pretty good right now. We're going to move the get stick outside of this and then make it into a single compound. Again, we use another execute node and have all these into a single execute node so everything can come in one place. So just get an execute node here and start hooking all these in the right order to the execute node. There we go. And then we'll hook this into port 1, and then this is pretty much ready to be turned into a single compound. All of these and the execute node, right mouse button, create compound, go to its properties, give it a name, burn emit, we'll call that one, and then again we'll go in any outputs we want in here, we'll make sure they are fed in. So we'll start with the emission ones. We definitely want to be able to control rate, want to be able to control size. We're probably going to have this controlled anyway later on, so that's more about size. Maybe speed. Okay, so we have those two, and then of course down here we want to be able to control all of these, the cutoff, traction strength, and all the forces we want to be able to work with. And that should be everything we need. We may want to change the age as well, so have them burn longer or shorter, so just bring in the age limits as well. And there is our final compound all set up, pretty much ready to go. We can change lots of things, so we can go here and say, oh, I want the rate up to 1,000. Let's increase it up to 1,000 and hit play. And then we've got a higher rate going there. And it will of course go slower. So that's a quick way of making the compound. Again, we can do the other two compounds as well. And then what we're going to do is save these out. So each of these compounds we're going to export out by exporting, and then we're going to reapply these using a script. So if you want to export them, again, make sure you go to properties and tell it where to export. I would probably put this under particles effects. Particles slash effects, and then export it out. And we already have a burn emit, a burn sim, and a burn init I did earlier, so I'm not actually going to export this one at this time, just because I've already done it once, and I'll just end up multiple copies of the same thing. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set up the compound for the stick, and then we're going to show you how we can have all those, once they're exported out, apply automatically using a script.